What's up, everybody? It's Devin here. In this video today, we are going to discuss retirement. One thing that most people, they really don't want to think about, but at the same time they do, because they don't want to be old and gray and having to live off of government support or mute off family members and all that kind of stuff. So we are going to talk about it, how you can set yourself up to have an amazing retirement and live a great life during your golden years. So if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button and the bell, all the stuff, so you can get notified when I put out these videos. The algorithm loves it. That way I can help more people. We can all grow together. So let's jump right into it. As far as retirement goes, most people, they think of retirement as a 401k, an IRA, something along those lines. Here's the problem though. Retirement funds like those, they have major faults. You see, one thing about it is when you have an actual, let's call it a 401k is a tax deferred plan, meaning the benefit to it is that you're actually deferring your taxes until a later date when you retire. Take, for example, I'm 39 years old. If I defer my taxes right now, I will not pay taxes for another 20 years when I'm 59 and a half in a 401k. What about taxes? Do they go up or do they go down? They generally go up. So what I'm doing in a 401k is I'm negating paying taxes now when I know what they are, when they're probably lower, to pay them later when they're probably going to be higher. It makes no sense. Why would I do that? It's the thing that we've been taught, though. We've been taught to do a 401k, max it out. And then another thing we're taught is because it gives you a match. Your company gives you a match. Here's the problem with a match is if they match $1 for $1, which most don't, they only match up to a certain point, let's say like $2,500. What's going to happen is you're going to have access to that money later in the future. You're going to get taxed on it more, like I said, but also you're going to get probably less buying power because inflation devalues every single dollar day by day. Why? The feds print trillions of dollars. The more dollars there are in circulation, the less each one is worth. And then once those dollars are printed, they are deposited into a bank. What does the bank do? The bank practices fractional reserve lending. And that means that the bank can lend out a multiple of what you just put in. They only have to keep a fraction of it on deposit. Therefore, if I had deposited $1,000, they can lend out $900. That means that there's $900 more in circulation because technically my $1,000 is supposed to still be sitting there in the bank, but it's not. And then they lend it out, $900 of it. That person spends it. Someone puts it in the bank. They can now lend out again more and keep a fraction of what's in there. So inflation is crazy. And what that means is when you do a 401k, you're giving up control of the money right now when it's worth the most because of inflation to have access to it later when it's probably going to be worth less and you're probably going to get paid more, charged more in taxes. So even if you have a match, you're getting taxed more in the future and your buying power has gone down so much that the match doesn't really even matter. The reason why companies do a match is because it's actually a dollar for dollar write-off for the company. If the company gives you a match, they get to write it off as a tax deduction. So of course, companies want you to put money into a 401k so that they can get the deduction. You're not getting a deduction. You're getting a deferred tax. You see the difference? So that's the problem with like a normal 401k. Amongst other things like the fact that when you're taxed at earned income rates. That is the highest tax bracket there is. But think about this. If you're putting your money into a 401k, it's most likely put into mutual funds. That's what 401ks do. They put the money into a mutual fund, and that at its core should not be taxed as earned income. That should be taxed as portfolio income. What that means is capital gains. Capital gains taxes are much lower than earned income. So if I put into a mutual fund today and it's in there for 20 years, that should be considered long-term capital gains, which at this point of this recording, I believe is 19% or 20. Don't quote me on that. But bottom line is that is less than earned income rates, which are as high as 40%. So you're putting into a vehicle that should be getting you capital gains. So you should be taxed at capital gains rates. Instead, you're taxed on earned income rates when you use it. It makes no sense. Also, a lot of people say, you know what? A 401k makes sense because when I start using the money, I'll be at a lower tax bracket, so I won't have to pay as much taxes. Think about that. You are basically saying that you want to be broke when you're retired. Who wants that, right? I don't know about you guys, but when I'm retired, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be living off less than I lived on the entire time of my life. I want to actually be able to live a better life when I'm retired. I want to be able to spend more money. I want to be able to take trips. I want to be able to do things that I couldn't do when I was in my working years. So the whole mindset of a traditional 401k, a traditional retirement vehicle is really just broken. But the fact is, most people subscribe to it because it's what we've been taught. So there's a solution though, guys, to where you can actually take more control of your retirement. Now, here's the thing. When you have control, regardless of what it is, if it's your retirement, if it is driving a vehicle, whatever it is, the more control that you have, the less risk you have. I always use the analogy, think of a car. If you are driving a car down the road and your brakes have gone out, your brakes no longer work, you have lost control of stopping your car. So what happens to your risk of crashing? It goes up, right? A lot. So that's the thing. If your steering goes out in your car, you've lost control of maneuvering the car. So your risk of crashing goes up. In a traditional retirement account, you have lost total control of your money. You've given it over to Wall Street. Now they have control. They determine what it's invested in, what mutual funds and blah, blah, blah. They have control. So what happens to your risk of losing your money? It goes up. It goes up a lot. People lose a lot of money in 401ks and traditional retirement accounts. Think about this. If you have $100,000 in an account and you earn 50%, okay? You have a 50% return. What do you have now? You have $150,000 in your retirement account, right? Now, let's say that next year you lose 50%, okay? You earned 50, now you lose 50. What's your balance? Your balance is now 75,000, 25,000 less than where you started. But again, you earned 50 and you lost 50. So most people would say that the average is a certain amount, right? But the actual return is less. That's the thing that you guys need to understand, is that when it comes to investments, there is a difference between an actual return and an average return. So when you hear financial advisors and all these financial gurus say the average of the S&P 500 is 8% over the last 20 years, that might be the average. But what's the actual return? It's a lot less because it's not accounting for the losses. When you have a loss, you're losing on a bigger principal. If you've earned, now you're losing at a bigger principal. So guys, the whole thing about it is you want to mitigate losses. I'll tell you one thing. Warren Buffett said it best. There's a few rules to investing. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. So don't lose money. The more control you have, the less risk you have of losing money. So what I'm going to tell you guys today is a way to have total control. So again, less risk over your retirement. Okay. The older you get, the less risk you can take. And if you've made losses along the way and you're getting close to retirement, you need to get as much as you can. You can't have risks, because if you lose again, remember what I said, it takes a lot more just to get back to square one if you lose money. So here's what you guys can do. And in the actual link of this video, I'm going to share, the description of this video, I'm going to share a link where you guys can set up a call with my team and we can help you do this. It's called a self-directed IRA. Self-directed IRA. It's a beautiful thing. Think of like a regular IRA. You've got an IRA and you've got a Roth IRA. In an IRA, what happens is you defer taxes, just like you do in a 401k, right? You defer your taxes, and then at retirement, when you start pulling money out, you pay taxes on it. As we've already explained, that's probably not the best thing to do because you don't know what taxes are going to be. They're probably going to be higher. So it makes sense to pay taxes now and not pay them in the future. So in a Roth IRA, you pay taxes now, it accumulates until your retirement, tax deferred. And then when you retire, so when you start pulling money out of that IRA at 59 and a half, there's no taxes. You've already paid the taxes. You paid them 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it is when you started. So that's the beauty of a Roth IRA. There's two of them. Again, there's a self-directed IRA and a self-directed Roth IRA. Again, one is paying taxes now, not paying them later. The other one is not paying taxes now, paying them later. Here's the secret sauce. Self-directed, okay? What that means is when you put money into this retirement account, you dictate where it's invested. So when it comes to investing, guys, the more control you have, the less risk you have. So if you have a self-directed IRA and I don't know, let's say you follow me and you know that I do real estate deals and you see my track record, you see I haven't lost money on deals, whatever it might be. And you think, oh, Devin has this deal that he's doing. I put it out on social media. Let's say it's a multi-unit property that I'm acquiring that I need to raise capital on, and I'm paying a preferred interest rate, meaning I'll pay you 10%, 12%, whatever it might be. What you could do is you could invest into that deal with me from your self-directed IRA. So what that means is if it's a Roth self-directed IRA, you've already paid taxes on the money that you put into the IRA. Now you take it from that self-directed and it comes to me to use for the real estate deal. And then I pay you, again, let's just say 10%. Let's make math easy. Let's say you lend me $100,000 from your self-directed IRA. You lend me $100,000, I pay you 10%. The deal takes 1 year. That means that you would earn $10,000 tax-free. So now in your self-directed IRA, you get the $100,000 back from me in the deal, plus your interest of 10%. So you've got $110,000 now in your self-directed IRA. Okay. Now you've got another deal that comes around. You want to buy some gold, whatever it may be. From your self-directed IRA, you purchase the gold. The gold yields you a return of XYZ. Once you actually get that return, it comes back into the self-directed IRA tax-free. See what I'm saying? You can build up your retirement on a tax-deferred basis, and you are dictating what it's invested in. That's the beauty of it, because the more you understand an investment, the less risk you have. Like, for instance, I don't know anything about investing in oil, let's call it. So if I just put some money into an oil investment, that's not really safe. I'm kind of gambling because I don't know much about it. But if I studied it, if I really took into account everything that it is, where I'm putting my money and what are the risks, what are these, how can I hedge my risk, then it's not as risky because I understand it. I have a belief that you should only invest in things that you know, like, and understand. For me, I understand real estate. I know how to underwrite a real estate deal. I know how to see if it's a good property or not a good property. Those kind of things. So you can determine where your money goes. Another cool thing is wholesaling. Most people know about real estate wholesaling. Did you know that you can actually do that from a self-directed IRA? So, for instance, let's say that there's a property that is worth $1 million once it's all fixed up, okay? And you can get that property under contract for, let's say, $400,000. And you know it only takes about $200,000 to make that property worth $1 million. I'm just using arbitrary numbers here. But let's say that's the case. That means that there's a $400,000 spread on that deal. You could actually take your self-directed IRA and get the property under contract, put an escrow deposit on the actual deal. So meaning, showing the buyer that you're serious. You could make it for $10,000, whatever. And that $10,000 would come from your self-directed IRA. And then you sell your rights to that contract to the end buyer, someone who's going to fix up the property, a flipper. And you tack on a $50,000 assignment fee. So all you're doing is you're getting the property under contract. You're putting hard escrow money on it, or a hard earnest deposit. So that way you show the seller that you are serious. And then you take your position in that contract and you sell it to the flipper and you mark on $50,000. Okay. So you purchased it for $400 and you sell it for $450. The end buyer knows they only got to put $200,000 into the property to make it worth $1 million. So they bought it at $450. They put $200,000 in the deal. So now there's $650 in, and they can sell it for $1 million. Flipper would do that all day long. So what happens is your $50,000 assignment fee comes back into your self-directed IRA along with your $10,000 hard earnest money deposit. You've just built up another $50,000 into your self-directed IRA, tax-free. I should say tax-deferred, because if it's a regular self-directed, not a Roth, you have to pay taxes later on in the future. But that's the beauty of it, guys, is if it's a Roth, it's building up without any taxes till retirement. And then when you use it, no taxes at retirement. It's a beautiful thing. The best part about it is you determine where the money goes. You have the control. Therefore, your risk of losing money goes way, way, way down. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, here's the cool thing about it too. You can have, let's say, an old IRA, an old 401k, some you had with a previous employer. You can convert that over to a self-directed. So again, I'm going to put the link in the description to where you can talk to our team. We can help you do that, convert over an old one to a self-directed, and then you can start dictating where you're putting the money and grow your retirement. But here's the thing. Let's say you have a regular 401k. So you haven't paid taxes yet. Here's a strategy that you could do. You could actually systematically convert it over to a Roth. So that way you pay taxes now. Again, we've already talked about taxes are probably lower now than they're going to be in the future. So you want to pay taxes now. You don't want to wait till the future when you have no idea how much they're going to be. So if you've got a regular 401k, you haven't paid taxes on it yet, what you could do is you could convert over to a Roth up to the next tax bracket. So let's say that you're $60,000 below that next tax bracket on your earned income, your job. What you could do is you could take $59,999 from your 401k and convert it over to a Roth. What that means is that money, you're not getting taxed more than all of your other income. You only get taxed more if you go to the next tax bracket. So you would basically take out all the way up to that next tax bracket. So that way you're paying the same amount of taxes on that as you paid on all your other income. Now, you pay those taxes now they're into a Roth. Now you can take it in the self-directed IRA that's a Roth and invest it in whatever you want, and it builds up tax-free. At retirement, you can use it tax-free. And then the next year, you can do the same thing. So if you've got more money in the regular 401k, you just take out up to your next tax bracket. So you'll want to get with your CPA. It's pretty simple. You can view tax brackets online. Go to google.com and just look up 2024 tax brackets. And you can see when the bracket happens. But obviously consult with your CPA to make sure that you're doing it all correctly. So you could just do that every single year to systematically pay taxes now while they're as low as they're probably ever going to be, and then never pay them again. Have full control over your retirement. Put the money wherever you want to put it to make sure that you are in control, that you are the one that's dictating how your retirement's going to be. It is absolutely a beautiful thing. Self-directed IRAs are the best retirement vehicle there is because, again, regular ones, I don't think they are worth a penny. Nobody should be doing them. However, they've been pushed on us ever since we were little, so it's just what we do. Humans are kind of like cattle. We just follow the herd. Everyone else is doing it. It's probably what I should do. But if you really think about it, most people, they're broke. Most people don't have a lot of money. So why would you do what most people do? I guarantee you could actually get a group of your friends, a group of people around you, 20, 30, 40 people, ask them, hey, do you know about a self-directed IRA? Chances are most of them are going to be like, no, what's that? Do you know what a self-directed Roth IRA is? They're going to be like, no, I got one at my work. Is that the same thing? They're not going to know. So guys, I hope you got a ton of value from this. If you have questions, make sure to put them in the comments below. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do that. And then smash that bell so you get notified when I put out these videos. Hit the like button, do all the things so that this channel can grow and we can all grow together. Share this with as many people as you can. So again, we can all learn together. I love you guys. Until next time, peace.